Well, next, the floods which hit Cumbria during Storm Desmond were apparently the most extreme in 600 years. That's according to a new study.
Research scientists took samples of sediment from Bassenthwaite Lake and compared them with records dating back 558 years. One of the report's authors, Professor Richard Cheverill, told us earlier how the research had been carried out.
We've basically been working at Bassenthwaite Lake in the Lake District, and our work involves collecting the sediments from the deep waters of the lake and basically looking at what's preserved in those sediments to essentially recover a flood history. So flood flows enter the lake, they carry sediments with them from the catchment. The grain size, how coarse the particles are in those sediments, is an indication of how energetic the flows are. So the coarser particles, the more energetic the flows.
Right, the more ferocious the flood then. So what did the sediment tell you?
The sediment tells us quite a lot because we recovered about 3 metres of vertical of the sediment from 10 or 11 metres of water near the inflow, and it contains numerous, they're actually invisible when you look at the mud, it just looks like brown gunk. It's just organics, but these coarse areas you can detect by measuring the grain size at fine resolution, and if you do that you see that the top, which equates to the last 2 decades, contains the coarsest events and therefore the most extreme floods in the entire 600-year record.
So can it give you any answers about the likelihood of it happening again?
To a certain extent. I mean, obviously predicting the future is a challenge, but when we compared that with the factors that actually control our climate system, the best match is with this sort of move to a warmer world, so increase in global and hemispheric temperatures, and that makes sense because most of our cyclonic systems carrying water or rainfall to Britain are generated in the tropics. If you have a warmer world, you generate wetter atmosphere, and that has to fall somewhere, and it's been falling in extreme events, right, in northwest England.
Yeah. How will the data be used then? Does it offer us any answers?
I think it provides a longer term context to these floods. So there's a lot been written about these are, the most extreme in people's memory who kind of live in the affected areas. And our data show that they're extreme when you take a longer perspective, because our records, river records only go back 40 years, our records go back 600. So we actually need to plan for these extremes, and that involves measures. I mean, it involves us being innovative in how we manage the landscape. We need to slow flows in river catchments. We need to reduce the rate at which waters reach these towns.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much, Professor Cheverill, for telling us about your research. Thank you.